All right, here's something that we all like to see more of are feats. These can be some very good little additions to any character, often something you might have to get from another class. Sometimes you can pick up from these. So let's look at the new feats they have right here added to Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. The first one, Tipuser Initiates. You know what it's got to do with right there. You learn one cantrip of your choice from the Artificer spell list, and you learn one first level spell of your choice from that list too. Intelligence is your spell casting ability for these spells. You can cast this feat's first level spell without a spell slot. That's good. And you must finish a long rest before you can cast it again in this way. So got to do a long rest for each one of those. You can also cast the spell using any spell slots you have. So got another option. And then lastly, you gain proficiency with one type of artisan's tools of your choice, and you can use that type of tool as a spell casting focus for any spell you cast that uses intelligence as a spell casting ability. So the main thing right there, you get your cantrip and a first level spell. Second right here we have chef. Now there's something you wouldn't expect to see when it comes to feats. Time spent mastering the culinary arts has paid off, granting you the following benefits. I think it's kind of odd. You get to increase your constitution or wisdom score by 1 and the usual up max of 20. You gain proficiency with cook's utensils if you don't already have it. And as part of a short rest, you can cook special food provided you have ingredients and cooked utensils on hand. You can prepare enough of this food for a number of creatures equal to 4 plus your proficiency bonus. That'll probably take care of the party. At the end of the short rest, any creature who eats the food and spends 1 or more hit dice to regain hit points will gain an extra 1d8 hit points. So that'll up the regaining, always good. With 1 hour of work, or when you finish a long rest, you can cook a number of treats equal to your proficiency bonus. These special treats will last 8 hours, and a creature can use a bonus action to eat one of these treats to gain temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. So this is really all about healing and extra hit points right here. Number 3, Crusher. You are practiced in the art of crushing your enemies, granting you the following benefits. An increase in strength of con by 1 sounds sensible with something named Crusher. So after you up your strength of con, it tells you once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals bludgeoning damage, you can move it 5 feet to an unoccupied space, provided the target is no more than 1 size larger than you. Also, when you score a critical hit that deals bludgeoning damage to a creature, attack rolls against that creature are made with advantage until the start of your next turn. So it sounds like you kind of stun them a bit. Number 4, Eldritch Adept. Studying occult lore, you have unlocked Eldritch power within yourself. You learn 1 Eldritch invocation option. Now that's new right there, of your choice from the Warlock class. If the invocation has a prerequisite of any kind, you can choose that invocation only if you're a Warlock who meets the prerequisite. Whenever you gain a level, you can replace the invocation with another one from the class. So look at that. You're not stuck with it. You can swap them around every time you go up a level. Number 5, Fey Touched. Your exposure to Feywild's magic has changed you, granting you the following benefits. First, increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1. Then you learn Misty Step spell and 1 first level spell of your choice. So I guess any first level spell you want, but here it is, must be from divination or the enchantment school of magic, so limited to those 2 schools. You can cast each of these spells without expending a spell slot. Once you cast either of these spells in this way, you can't cast that spell this way again until you finish a long rest. But it also says right here, you can also cast these spells using spell slots you have of the appropriate level. So it just has to be of the appropriate level. The spell casting ability is the ability increased by this feat. Number 6, Fighting Initiate. Your martial training has helped you develop a particular style of fighting. As a result, you learn 1 fighting style option. So there's something good you can add of your choice from the fighter class. If you already have a style, the one you choose must be different. Whenever you reach a level that grants the ability score improvement feature, you can replace this feat's fighting style with another one from the fighter class that you don't have. So that's good. You can swap them up. Number 7, Gunner. You have a quick hand and keen eye when employing firearms, granting you the following benefits. Increase your dex score by 1, and then you gain proficiency with firearms. See the DM's guide for information on that. Then you ignore the loading property of forearms. That's always great. And then lastly, being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attacks, just like somebody's using a bow or something like that. Number 8, Metamagic Adept. You've learned how to exert your will on your spells to alter how they function. You learn 2 metamagic options of your choice from the sorcerer class. You can use only one metamagic option on a spell when you cast it unless the option says otherwise. Whenever you reach a level that grants the ability score improvement feature, you can replace one of these options. You gain 2 sorcery points to spend on your metamagic, and these points are added to any sorcery points you have from another source. So if you've already got metamagic points, at least you can add 2 more to this at the least. You regain all your spent sorcery points when you finish a long rest. Number 9, Piercer. You have achieved a penetrating precision in combat, granting you the following benefits. So you can increase your strength or dex by 1, and then once per turn when you hit a creature with an attack that deals piercing damage, you can re-roll one of the attack's damage dice, and you must use the new one. So, you roll a 1, what have you got to lose? Definitely roll it again. So back up here, the last thing it gives, when you score a critical hit that deals piercing damage to a creature, you can roll 1 additional damage die when determining the extra piercing damage. So get a crit, add another dice to it. It's always good. 10 right here, Poisoner. You can prepare and deliver deadly poisons, granting you the following benefits. When you make a damage roll that deals poison damage, it ignores resistance to poison damage if they have it. You can apply poison to a weapon or a piece of ammunition as a bonus action instead of an action. That's good right there. You gain proficiency with the Poisoner's Kit if you don't already have it. With 1 hour of work using a Poisoner's Kit and expending 50 gold piece worth of materials, you can create a number of doses of potent poison equal to your proficiency bonus. Once applied to a weapon or piece of ammunition, the poison retains its potency for 1 minute or until you hit with the weapon or ammunition. When a creature takes damage from the coated weapon or ammunition, that creature must succeed on a DC 14 Constitution saving throw, or take 2d8 poison damage and become poisoned until the end of your next turn. That ought to be a popular one right there with anybody in melee. So again, it's not that expensive, 50 gold. Get a number of those equal to your proficiency bonus, and adding 2d8, that's really good. A lot of things will fail at DC 14 for a while to get to really high levels, and then some of them still will from there. And having the poison be potent for just 1 minute, if I was DM, I'd scrap that part. I'd make it poison from then on till it was used. Number 11, Shadow Touched. Your exposure to the Shadowfell's magic has changed you, granting you the following benefits. Increase your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1. Then you learn the invisibility spell. Everybody always likes having that. And 1 first level spell of your choice. That first level spell must be either from Illusion or Necromancy School of Magic. You can cast each of these spells without expending a spell slot, always good. Once you cast either of these spells in this way, you can't cast that spell in this way again until you finish a long rest. You can also cast these spells using spell slots you have of the appropriate level. The spell's casting ability is the ability you increase by the feat, one of those at the top. Number 12, Skill Expert. You have honed your proficiency with particular skills, granting you the following benefits. Increase 1 ability score of your choice by 1, so any of them you want. You gain proficiency in 1 skill, always good to have. Choose 1 skill in which you have proficiency. You gain expertise with that skill, which means your proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check you make with it. Rogues, picking locks, things like that, disarming traps, that's a go-to right there. The skill you choose must be one that isn't already benefiting from a feature such as expertise. That would doubles your proficiency bonus. So something's already doubling it, you can't double it again, is what they're saying right there at the end. But again, that'd be outstanding for some of those classes. 13, Slasher. You've learned where to cut to have the greatest result, granting you the following benefits. Increase your strength or dex by 1, And then once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, you can reduce the speed of the target by 10 until the start of your next turn. When you score a critical hit that deals slashing damage to a creature, you grievously wound it. Until the start of your next turn, the target has disadvantage on all attack rolls. So it's in pain, has disadvantage to attack from there. 14. Telekinetic. You learn to move things with your mind, granting you the following benefits. Increase intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1, always the maximum of 20. You learn the mage hand cantrip, that's always handy. You can cast it without verbal or somatic components, and you can make the spectral hand invisible. If you already know this spell, its range increases by 30 feet when you cast it. Its spell casting ability is the ability increased by the feat, so one of those right up there at the top. As a bonus action, you can try to telekinetically shove one creature you can see within 30 feet of you. When you do so, the target must succeed on a strength saving throw. The DC is going to be 8, plus your proficiency bonus, plus the ability modifier of the score you increased with the feat. Or they'll be moved 5 feet toward you or away from you, whichever one you like. A creature can willingly fail the save. And then lastly here, telepathic. You awaken the ability to mentally connect with others, granting you the following benefits. Increase intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1, as always the max of 20. You can speak telepathically to any creature you can see within 60 feet of you. Your telepathic utterances are in a language you know, and the creature understands you only if it knows that language. So you got to have a common language between the two. Your communication doesn't give the creature the ability to respond to you telepathically, so it could hear you but not talk back to you telepathically. You can also cast the Detect Thought spell, requiring no spell slot or components, and you must finish a long rest before you can cast it in this way again. Your spell casting ability for the spell is the ability increased by the feat. If you have spell slots of 2nd level or higher, you can cast this spell with them. So that's 15 different new feats for you right here. Some of those are really good, and you can see the classes that are going to go right along with them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.